We told them, we told everyone for years. We said this man turns on everyone around him. We said he has no loyalty, no principles, nothing beyond his own reflection. He doesn't care about anything. There's no morality there. There's no integrity there. There's nothing. We said he demeans, humiliates, destroys. We said it in 2015, in 2016. Every year after that, it's been 11 years we've been telling you that. And then before that, people were telling you who he is. People in New York, they basically saw him as a clown. And so when we told you all of that, Tucker Carlson, they said we were elitists, that everybody else were the elites. Megyn Kelly said that we were hysterical. Candace Owens said, no, weird that we, the ones who were like, Trump is not fit to be president, that we were the problem. Alex Jones has said that we were the globalist deep state, the globalist. Yes. Marjorie Taylor Greene screamed at us from the floor of Congress and then said that, the weather and everything was being controlled by Jewish space lasers, all kinds of crazy shit. And now after a decade of this man on camera, like it being memorialized in every different form, on audio, video, all of it, writing, after every lie, every cruelty, every person thrown under the bus, now they figured out that he's a bad person because of Iran, not because of January 6th, not because of a perfect phone call to Ukraine, or may I just find me 11,780 votes. Not after the impeachments, not after Charlottesville, not after 2 impeachments. Not any of it?
I wonder what would happen if we finished off what's left of the Iranian terror state and let the countries that use it, we don't, be responsible for the so-called straight. That would get some of our non-responsive allies in gear, and fast. President DJT, if Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump, with a little more time, we can easily open the Hormuz Strait, take the oil, and make a fortune. It would be a gusher for the world! President Donald J. Trump! Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out, 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God! President Donald J. Trump! No, Trump is not losing his nerve on Iran. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump.
So Donald Trump's White House DoorDash stunt today is going from bad to worse because this image, according to many online, encapsulates the state of the United States of America. On the right, you have the Oval Office in gold trimmings, completely gold inside. On the left, you have a grandmother delivering food to a president who's putting excess gold inside the Oval Office, McDonald's. The grandma, meanwhile, is delivering food because she needs the money to pay for her husband's cancer treatment. She's delivering that food to a president who is spending thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars on real gold to retrofit the Oval Office. And so this image is now being circulated across the internet to represent what America is today, where the top get gold trimmings and McDonald's delivered to their doorsteps, while everyone else has to work until they're grandmas and grandpas, just to be able to afford to have cancer treatment if they need it.
Wait, so he depicted himself as Jesus, and then his followers was like, wait, you don't actually think you're Jesus, right? And then he's like, well, y'all been treating me like I'm Jesus. And they're like, no. Oh, no. And then he deleted it. But because he's 79, he doesn't understand. It's like saved on everyone's phone. It's funny. Not fun. Funny?
Well, it's happened, everybody. Donald Trump has messed up so much that MAGA actually got mad at him. So this post right here is Trump claiming to be a doctor. When he was asked about what this post was, everyone else, including myself, saw this as a fairly aggressive biblical reference, kind of making Trump look like the healing Jesus. And MAGA agreed with me. It's so bad that even Fox News themselves Can't lie about this. There's the Fox logo way up in the top corner over there, because it is that bad and it's that blatantly obvious that this is a post depicting Trump as our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. There was so much backlash on the post that Trump actually took the post down. Now, to my memory, I don't recall Trump ever taking a post down because of backlash. It's usually like, oh, whatever, because his supporters would always support him. But in this case, on the Truth Social where he posted it, even the MAGA zealots were like, this is not okay, this is inappropriate. Donald Trump is really trying to push that he just meant to be a doctor, but it's either he's so not religious, he doesn't know what the depictions of Jesus look like, or he knew what he was doing and now he's just making an excuse. I think the one good thing that's coming from this is that we are learning that MAGA has a limit. It's good to know. Took a while to find it, but we have finally arrived. So MAGA has their limit, and it's simply putting your head on Jesus's body. That's where it stops. Right? That's where it's too much. So y'all have a great night.
The President of the United States of America is one of the most unhinged people on social media, which is a phrase or statement or reality I never thought would exist for us in this current day and age. After his out-of-pocket post on Truth Social this morning, where he told them to open the fucking Strait of Hormuz, calling them crazy bastards, saying that they'll be living in hell, basically saying that he wanted to commit war crimes against Iran. No president ever talks about war strategy via social media. He followed up by telling an ABC reporter that he wants to blow up the entire country. Nothing was off limits, that he will want to decimate them and blow them out of the water. Now, this is the active president of the United States of America, who is the commander in chief, saying he wants to use the might of the United States Army to wipe a country off the face of the earth. That, my friend, is for all intents purposes a war crime. But we all know that the ICC and the UN has proven themselves useless as they allow Israel to continue doing whatever they want to do. So I think now our president's like, oh, I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say because no one's holding him accountable. Then to top it off, to solidify himself as a fascist dictator, at the request of the government, satellite imagery firms are no longer providing high-resolution, high-def images of the Iran conflict per the request of the Trump administration. Planet Labs, who provides imagery from around the globe, said that they will no longer be providing images, and that was done by the United States government. So we can't see what's actually happening in Iran. The government's not sharing what's happening in Iran. We know that Iran's not decimated. The government's lying to us about what's happening in Iran, and they're telling satellite imagery companies they can no longer provide the same images they've been providing as part of their job. Gotcha. And then just to round it off for this Easter weekend, we have seen the highest rise in gas costs of any sitting president to date. The average cost of gas in America now is over $4 a gallon. And in some places that's really high. In California, it's sitting between $6 and $7, teetering on $8 a gallon for gas. When and how do we hold this man accountable? That's the most frustrating part about being an American and not supporting their administration, as most of us, all of us don't support the administration, but then seeing what the administration's doing and feeling helpless, and how that will always reflect upon all Americans, regardless if you're a MAGA, regardless if you are left, right, liberal, centrist, it reflects upon all of us. I say all of this to say, this is all at the behest of a man and a government who is a lunatic, and a war and a conflict we do not need to be in.
Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi did everything Donald Trump asked. They never told him no. So when talking about tokens get spent in the Trump administration, people are often referring to Black people or people of color who are complicit or active agents in the administration, or willing and ready sock puppets like Nicki Minaj. But no one wants to talk about how white women are getting spent like the balloons on a pirate ship with this administration. First, Noem was moved from Secretary of Homeland Security to some like peace alignment fake bullshit thing. Now Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General, and she don't even get a fake position in the administration. She's transferring to the private sector. Under Noem, ICE activity ramped up dramatically, leading to the death of dozens of people. People are being detained in immigration facilities that are overcrowded, filled with mold, spoiled food. Children are constantly sick. There are young girls who are turning up pregnant there. Physical violence. Some people are describing torture. She did that for Trump, and he told her ass to get the out. Bondi, she did every snake shit, from the birthright citizenship to the tariffs to fucking Epstein. She had her back to victims of violence, girls that were groomed, a group and demographic Bondi swears she has fought for. She sided with PETA for Trump. and she got shit for it. They were willing profiteers on all of the fascist authoritarian bullshit that the Trump administration was doing. And once the shit got too much, once the block got too hot, Trump dropped them both. This wasn't just selling your soul to the devil. It was applying and graciously accepting the role of the devil's executive assistant. And while I'm waiting for these two women to be tried at The Hague, I think it's also really important to note that I think their ousting is a part of a bigger mission of the Trump administration, a mission that's been clear since the get-go of what does make America great mean? When was that era? It was the era when women did not have the positions that these two women were given. Positions in which their secondary class status was unquestioned and they were bound to the home where a patriarch can control them full force. I'm not arguing that Bondi or Noam are going to return to a docile trad wife living. I'm sure they'll be fine because this world is unjust. They gave Trump everything and they were still thrown away as if they were disposable because at the end of the day, no matter how many necks of black and brown people you stand on, you're still not their equal.
Iran put a picture of Tupac on the nose of a drone, and I think it's a better time than ever to analyze why. From Lego Malcolm X to a mural of Nipsey Hussle, Iran has been sending clear messages to marginalized American communities throughout the entire conflict. And if you ask me, it's a way more effective way to get the messaging out than like putting the info out and hoping that the oil investing billionaires that own the American media report on it. But why? If you ask me, it has everything to do with how things run in America. The dual labor market theory is the idea that it's really not just all about competition and free market capitalism. The nature of the free market creates two categories. The primary market, which is the stable, well-paying jobs with benefits, so think corporate and medical professionals, skilled trades, union workers, etc., as well as a secondary market of unstable, low-wage jobs like fast food, domestic work, gig work, and believe it or not, content creation. And when we add the layers of American racism, sexism, and overall homophobia, this is not the rule, but the trend is that you will see more marginalized groups like black people in the secondary American economy than the primary, which is where, in my head, it makes sense that the propaganda aimed to be spread on social media, a space that exists in the secondary economy, is being themed and crafted to catch the attention of black people in America. And it's no secret that black Americans and Americans of color are the cultural engine of this country. There's a reason you don't hear about doctors or bankers coming out with the latest fashion trends or dances. It's not their job in society, but more importantly, it's also not their role in American culture. Most American news outlets are just as compromised as the average viewer, and that's by design, as it's typically messaging from the top 1% of the primary market in America. It's why TikTok is still such an issue as a competitor in that space. The content on this app doesn't always come from the controlled narrative of a billionaire or the primary market. A lot of times, it comes from a content creator doing research, working out of that secondary market. That's a huge problem for an American empire that wants to control the narrative around a war only the top 1% of the primary market really benefits from.
Confuse the enemy. Yep.